So I'd want to do something like that before I would say, yeah, they're in there. Now, do I think there's certainly a high possibility? 100%. And I don't think that there would be whispers of this if there wasn't some validity to
Yeah,
it.
some degree of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like I said, someone could be an infantryman and from America, has gone multiple deployments, go to Mexico, and Mexican military would look at that individual as if he was Delta. They would look at him as if he was. I used to teach MMA at a gym in the border, and they called me Sarge because they heard I was in the military.
Oh
They
my.
knew nothing about my military career. They just said, "Hey Sarge, hey Sarge." So my point is, like, people interpret things the way they want, and if you don't correct them, it'll kind of stay the conversation. Um, and again, I don't see why there wouldn't be. I mean, money's money. There's going to be guys who are probably willing to do it. The Delta operator we interviewed, he said something so fascinating, but he was like, he said, I would willing to believe there would never be a Delta operator to do it. As much as that's one of the rumors is a Delta operator. He said because they've spent their whole life serving this country and they're very patriotic to a level of I mean, they spent careers doing it. That type of patriotism, it's really hard to turn their back on. Now, if you're talking about the 3-year, 4-year contract guy that went overseas once or twice, that guy might be willing to more take the money than anyone else because, you know, what's the next contract he's going to jump onto? So it's an interesting conversation. I hope in the next year or so we come down to the truth of it, whatever it is, because it's an interesting one. It makes the military members in our audience go nuts. And there was one Navy SEAL who said he's confirmed it, and I have not verified that yet. So we'll see.
That's fair. Um, all right. This next question is again for the both of you. Speaking of a cartel with a strong paramilitary wing, the CJNG, Kat, you've done so much reporting on them. All of your dispatches, you've gone into so much depth. So I'll start with you. The question is, where do you see the CJNG in 2 years?
It's so hard to say because cartels are constantly evolving and you never know what's going to happen, especially with the states taking action against the cartels. It makes it even more complicated for me to look 2 years in the future because really 2 years in cartel world is a long freaking time. A lot can happen in that time. And so here's the thing. And I've said this time and time again. I truly believe that the leader of the CJNG Elemental is alive. And if that's the case, and he is sick, like people say, and in hiding, if Elemental were to actually die, whoever comes in charge next, I don't really think it's going to be this peaceful transfer of power. It could possibly be where we see some infighting, some fragmentation, and that does typically happen even if the next person in line is handpicked because everyone wants a piece of the pie. Now, what I do see, however, is no matter what happens, CJNG will be, if not already pretty much is, the most powerful cartel in Mexico, the most expansionist cartel in Mexico, where they now have power over all 32 Mexican states. And I know some people give me shit. They're like, there's 31. No, but Mexico City is a federal district, so there's 32. So they have this extreme level of power and they want to maintain that and they will do whatever it takes. That is why they are so violent, especially compared to other cartels. I mean, they're not going to want to end up like Los Zetas. They have seen it all. They have learned. They have been through basically, this is like one of the newer cartels and they've seen every possible outcome, which means they will gather and stockpile every possible tool and strategy to ensure that they don't end up like that. And the only way for that to happen would be if there was some sort of third-party intervention. I don't even mean adversarial cartels. I literally mean like government tier 1 forces that come in and try to knock them down, because truly CJNG's stronghold is second to none. And I'm not like pretext here, like I'm not a spokesperson for them. I'm not saying, oh my God, this is just literally what's happening. And they're so powerful and their violence scares everyone. across the board. They have so many officials in their pocket. They have been able to get away with so much. I mean, we look at Rancho Izaguirre as an example that made worldwide headlines, a cartel that's responsible for something like that, and there was no justice. Nobody, maybe like they arrested a plaza boss. Who gives a shit? That's still going to happen and everything can still go on under the radar. So picturing CJNG in 2 years kind of scares the shit out of me because I also report on them and I can't even begin to imagine the type of stronghold they're going to have in the next 2 years, let alone like another decade.